heart attack. Fast, fatal, heart impact. Past painful scars, in fact, I blast tasteful bars and pass. I back up my actions, fact, don't ask, grab reactions, jacked, attack with every word, then act with class as they hear me snap. I got nothing to lose, cause I fought and felt the bruise. Now I'm not the one confused, call the shots and they produce. I ain't lost, I'm finally loose, pick a new submerged juice. I need the views to boost me to a new abuse of being used. Everybody wants a piece now, y'all can rest in peace now. You're dead to me, so peace out. Remember you're discreet now, get ready for defeat now.
Alrighty. Hello everybody. This is Kirusho here, and now, whenever we last left off with this series, quite a bit was happening. In the last part, we had things between Deku and Emilia. Now, both of them, they are on Pluto. They have been found out, and their relationship has been revealed to the entirety of the public. Deku, he was somewhat concerned. And there actually is the matter with Adam. Adam wants Deku's execution to be held after he gets the information about the Machine Man or the Dratix. Now, Deku, he talked about how he knows how to unlock this technology. He knows what to do. He knows information Adam doesn't. And Adam, right now, he's willing to put aside his personal grudge against Deku for this information. And Deku, he's still kind of confused about all of it. Whenever he was possessed by the Trequa, he doesn't know what he has in his head. He's seen bits and pieces here and there, and that is still very vague. Deku, he knows whatever the alien inside of his head was, it washed the Trequa, rip apart civilizations, and they've had access to their own technology. And that's something that Deku he's concerned about. Inside Deku's mind, there is a massive amount of information. Even Deku himself doesn't understand all of it. And the fact is, the more he tries to unlock, the more difficult or more strange the situation will become. Now, there also is things with Emilia. Emilia talked about a plan. Whenever her and Deku were lying in bed, she talked about how her idea was to use the, stealth watches and run off together. She wanted both of them to leave. Get off of Pluto, or maybe even just stay on Earth. Hide as different people and stay together. Or maybe even head to Mars. Maybe even a moon base. It's still up in the air. And there actually was Deku. Deku, he thought this plan was strange. However, upon considering it, and even thinking about it more, he wondered something. And he even did vocalize to Emilia his thoughts on the matter. He will run away with her. However, there is this one condition. And Emilia, she accepted this condition. They'll run away together, as long as they get married. Now, that was strange to both of them. Deku, he gave up everything for Emilia. And right now, he's asking Emilia to give up everything she has for him. And that's something that Deku, he feels bad about. And Emilia, she's willing to do this. Emilia, she knows that Deku gave up everything for her. And, under the threat of his own life being taken from her, she's willing to do the same thing. Now, we do currently have today. Deku, he does hop in the shower and get ready, as it's been about 4 days since Deku proposed to her. And Emilia, she actually is very excited. Today, they got the go-ahead, and they're going to be able to inspect the alien technology. Now, the code Deku gave to the scientist, it has been looked at, and through an AI cross-referencing it to the alien, black box, there was at least some similarities seen through the coding. And that was very strange. I want to say about, somewhere between 60 and 80% of the code would be able to be matched in a certain pattern. And that actually is fairly high, considering the fact that this alien technology, it could have been able to assimilate more alien tech before it actually directed itself towards Earth. And the fact that it does actually have some human tech assimilated into it actually does make that percent a lot higher than it should have been. Now, this actually is fairly concerning. Humans and Etsos, they've been trying to unlock this technology for a minute. They already had a basic understanding. Fact was, whenever the super suits or the, well, fighter suits were used and assimilated, there was the fact that this technology already did have somewhat of a basic understanding of code. However, now, they actually have at least a fairly more advanced way to look at it. And that all is thanks to what was inside of Deku's head. Now, we do currently have Deku, where he is standing in front of a door, and he does put on a hazmat suit. As whenever he does so, he does walk into a room and go to step forwards. As we do have him currently, he's standing there in a hazmat suit with an earpiece, and he's walking around the alien tech and looking to see if anything has changed. Okay. What's going on here? Careful. Last time we had a guy do something, it sent out some random burst. You guys activated the weapon system? Not weapon system. We don't know what we did. I don't know, just be careful. Affirmative. Alright. Well, Deku going to at least step over one of the tendrils. As he does so, he is going to carefully bring his other leg over and go to turn his body. Him staring at an area that he knows for a fact was attacked by one of the pilots. As he does stare directly at a spot. Okay. Let's see though. This thing. Do you guys know what it is? That's fairly complicated. So far from at least carbon dating it, this technology, it's old. We don't know exactly how carbon dating would work in space, but considering the fact that there's no atmosphere and the metals are of unknown compositions, we don't know exactly. The ones we can identify say somewhere around over possibly 300, 400 years, but that's just a brief estimate. Listen, a lot of the stuff we're in the dark on. We literally have no idea about. So, while we can try to be accurate with it, we don't know if we are accurate with it. Does that make sense? Okay. Yeah, it does. They could just thinking. If he goes back to the mind space, could he access information on this thing? Could he see more? Okay. The Trequa, they did have more information. Maybe diving deeper down that rabbit hole could be a possibility. Okay. Now, Deku, he does get to back away from the machine. And everybody, they do watch that. In the observation room, Deku was right up there, up close to it. And he was running his hand directly over certain areas. And currently, he does take steps backwards. As whenever Deku does get back up away from it, he does actually go to somewhat focus. As he's currently in his own mind. And we do actually have Amelia. Amelia was up in the observation room. And whenever she felt Deku enter the mind space, she actually go to somewhat look around. Her just thinking, is he calling to her? Now, there was actually Adam. Whenever he did see his sister's focus turn away, he knew that Deku, he was doing something mentally, using his powers. And that did somewhat annoy him. Him thinking that he may have to suit up and go down there. Because the fact is, he himself wants to know as much as possible about the situation. And we do currently have Deku. He does enter the mind space. As he does so, he's going to walk up to the orb and go to reach his hand out. Him just wondering, this thing here, it has information. Much he hasn't seen or, well, looked at, so maybe it can give him something else now. Deku reaching his hand into it. As whenever his fingers do actually touch the device, they actually start to sink into it. And Deku, he actually started to pull away. However, the moment he does so, he actually is feeling a jolt of power. And we do have it in the real world. where Deku, his body just started to somewhat glow, and an aura does form around his body. Everybody in the observation room, they are surprised. And we do currently have Adam. His eyes do go to open wide, and he actually does somewhat turn towards Amelia. As blue blood is starting to flow out of her nose, before she herself is going to stumble backwards. And Adam, he actually is concerned. As we do have in the mind space. Deku, he feels the volt of power in his hand and in his arm, as he actually is getting flashes and glimpses of a different world, of a different time. And we do actually have Amelia. She herself tried to come here and see what the hell was happening. The moment she entered the mind space, this was where her nose started to bleed. And whenever she did see Deku, she actually was going to run over to him. As Deku and the, metallic orb do start to float up into the air. Now, Deku, he does try to bring his hand upwards and go to push off of it. However, the moment his other hand is going to connect with the device, you do actually have in the real world. Deku's entire body is just on glow. And he actually is floating upwards into the air. As you do have where he is craning his head upwards towards the top of the building. And he's just looking up. As something strange is happening. A lot of machinery around them does start to somewhat, fry. Or get hit with a sudden EMP. And Deku himself is glowing. His body is producing a strange energy. And right now he doesn't know what to do. And we do actually have Amelia. She is going to run over and directly go to grab onto Deku. Her reaching her hands up and going to grab onto him in the suit before trying to pull him backwards. And we do actually have Deku who himself is trying to pull himself away. Before Amelia, she actually is able to pull him off of the device, and Deku, he himself is going to fall backwards. As we actually have in the real world. Both Deku and Amelia, they do start to somewhat seize up. And Deku, his body is convulsing on the ground. Now, people do run into the rooms and try to help them out. People do carry Amelia away, and they make sure that she is able to somewhat physically recover. However, there actually is Deku. Well, Amelia may have had a mild seizure, you do actually have Deku. His was a bit more violent, and the fact was, they don't know what was going on with him. They didn't know if they should take him out of the suit. And right now, fact is, he himself did seem to be a danger. His body started to somewhat emanate a glow. And fact is, no one knows what the hell is happening to him. This isn't part of his quirk. This isn't something that he has for a ability, does he? Now, whenever Deku was pulled out of his suit, you do actually have many things that do happen. Deku himself was seeing glimpses and flashes. And right now, we do currently have, through Deku's point of view, Deku, he's standing on a world, and he's watching as flying orbs, they're shooting overhead. And right now, he himself is looking around. He's looking at the world he's on. He's surrounded by a decent amount of water, and right now, he can't tell what's happening. However, you do actually have one for Deku who does going to feel something grab onto his ankles, and he does going to look down. Before he's pulled underwater, Deku trying to claw upwards towards the sky to get air. Deku holding his breath, as he's currently trying to reach upwards towards the sky, and he does watch as something does smash directly down into the water. And Deku, the moment he does go to look around, he does see that there are orbs flying downwards towards the bottom of the water. Deku going to look down, as he is trying to fight against whatever is keeping him downwards. Before he does try to suck in a breath of air. And the moment he does go to attempt this, he actually does find that he can breathe. Him kind of confused. Before we're going to look around. Before, you actually have the force is going to jolt him downwards towards the water. And Deku, he doesn't try to fight it. Deku is pulled down underwater and does try to see what happens. He does watch as a world full of water, it is invaded. And he actually is confused. Watching as amphibious aliens, or aquatic aliens, they're taken over by aliens. Or the orbs or the Trois. And they are then used to fight against their own people. and their technology is turned on them. Now, Deku, after watching a few of these things happen and even seeing something blow up, you do actually have where he's jolted away by a massive explosion. And he actually is somewhere else. Now, we do currently have in the real world, where Deku, he actually is laying on an operating table. And right now they're trying to strap him down to make sure that he is okay. Because of one simple thing. His body is freaking out. And the amount of brain activity they're monitoring on him, it is abnormally high, even for a presumed telepath. Now, many of the medical professionals here, they're worried about this. They've never dealt with a meta, or, well, a freak. And, well, while they have looked into exobiology and the way their brain patterns work, they don't want to try to apply the same thing to humans. Especially when the fact is, the species barrier or the biological barrier, it's unknown as to where it is split. And that is what does really worry them. They don't want to perform a procedure that you would perform on an exo on a human. Because of one simple fact. If you try to perform the same procedure on a human, there's a chance that they may either end up brain dead or, well, no longer there mentally. And the fact is, the brain patterns, well, they are similar, they don't, well, exactly go together. Now, that is somewhat confusing to them. And right now, we do have back with Deku. Deku, he's currently looking around. And he's walking across a battlefield. Deku, he's looking at different worlds. Different things that Trequa not only have they done, places they've invaded, but places where the Dratix, they've been fought and encountered. And it does worry him. He watches these machines, they not only fly across the sky and smash into buildings, but they invade. They take over and they assimilate. And it's horrifying to him. Deku watches this over and over and over again, until he does start to understand a few things. Now, we do actually have in the real world, where Deku, after being out for a few hours, he actually has come to. Deku actually going to sit up, as the moment he does try to move his body, you do actually have where his arms, they're bolted down to a table. And Deku is going to look at the metal restraints, before he actually starts to bring his hands up and go to look around. Before Deku does at least try to scream or talk about something, finding that there is actually a mouth guard in his mouth. Now, Deku, he actually uses powers. Him going to actually pull loose one of his arms, as he's going to pull the guard of his mouth, before we're going to actually go to throw or somewhat spit at a large amount of spit. Now, Deku does go to look down, as he's going to bring his hand outwards and going to pull off the restraint covering his left arm. And he does go to someone just drop it. I'm just thinking, okay, so that's the thing. Okay, that was a bad idea. Maybe he shouldn't touch the orb again. Okay, but still, the information, everything I just learned. Hell, how long had passed? Deku looking around. He's not in the same room. He's in a medical facility. And when we're just going to look to his right, there's Amelia. Amelia, shit. Deku looking down to his legs and towards his upper thighs. As the moment he's going to look down towards those, well, that way, he has to at least focus his powers. As the restraints do go to pull off the table. Deku going to sit up, as he's going to try and stand. And the moment he does feel disoriented. His body feels dizzy and his mind is fatigued. Deku going to look around, before he is going to run over to something and going to directly puke into a bucket. Now, Deku, he doesn't even care. The moment he does at least start to stop spewing chunks, he's going to run over to Amelia. Him looking down at her as he's going to try and bring up his hand. Deku directly bring it up over her face as he's trying to focus. And the moment he actually starts to feel her brain activity, he does understand. She's okay, but her mind feels a little fuzzy. Okay, hopefully this can work. Amelia, okay, are you awake? Come on, are you alive? Now, Amelia, she actually is somewhat disoriented, and she actually does want to stir awake. As the moment she does, Deku just goes to bring up his hands and use his powers. Him pulling off her restraints, off of her arms, as the moment she's able to sit up, she actually is going to turn, her facing away from Deku and going to puke off of the table. And Deku does go to wait. As after a few minutes, Elena's going to turn to Deku, her asking him what the hell happened. Listen, I don't exactly know, but I'm focused, aware. Amelia, I don't know the best way to explain it to you, but right now, I know something more. Listen, it sounds weird, I understand, but that thing in the headspace, it's, well, it's our key. It can help us, and Izuku, you don't understand. Understand what? Whenever you went there, you freaked out. You started convulsing and I blacked out. What? Yeah. I don't think it's a good idea to go there anymore. Leave that thing alone. Oh, leave it alone? Amelia, that thing could be our only solution to fixing this. Stopping an invasion. I mean, hell, this doesn't make sense. Izuku, are you focused? Yes, I'm focused, okay? What is it? Amelia gonna at least cock back her hand. And Deku, the moment he does realize what she's doing, he actually has to back away. Him dodging a slap before she is going to try and break her other hand. And slap him again. Deku going to catch her arm, as is tell her that that wasn't necessary. Are you still focused on the orb? Yes, I'm still. Fuck. Okay. I get it. Now, Deku is going to turn around and mumble something. And Amelia, she is confused. She didn't understand that. Now, you do actually wish to look down towards her legs, and she actually just go to use her own powers to pull off the restraints. And Deku, he actually had to turn around, asking her if she is okay. Yeah, I'm fine. Why? Amelia, I have a crazy idea. I know it's gonna sound weird, but I've been doing some research. Research? When did you have time for research? Okay. Let me explain. Whenever I touched the orb, I saw things. I saw different worlds, Amelia. I saw how the Trequa, not only did they invade, when they encountered the Dratics, they analyzed their tech. They looked at it. They even captured a pilot and, well, I don't want to talk about that, but they investigated it. They learned about it. Did you learn anything? I did. I learned a lot. So, I want to say that our plan, it actually can work. What plan? The one where we get out of here. Listen, I've been looking around, focusing on things. And while I haven't gotten the security credentials, I don't think we'll need them. We need to get to the lab, okay? Izuku, why do we need to get to the lab? If we get to the lab, we can get out of here. right now. If we do that, we don't even need to go to Mars. Izuku, you're scaring me. No, no, Amelia, this is me, okay? This is Izuku. This is your husband. Listen, we can do this, okay? I saw a place, and the Trequa, they've taken a lot of people from there. It should be habitable, a place for us. Maybe we can survive there. Look at the atmosphere. That's all I'm asking. Listen, I understand that human corporations, they've been looking towards space for a while. Minerals from Mars used to be too expensive to take back to Earth. But thanks to exotechnology, nowhere's off limits for them. The entire solar system has mining operations all around, especially Pluto. Okay, so you want to steal an aircraft from a mining facility? No, Amelia. Not steal an aircraft. Assimilate an aircraft. Um, okay. Hang on a minute. You're not suggesting what I think you're suggesting, are you? I am. Amelia, trust me. Okay? Listen, we can go through the plan tomorrow. But right now, we need to get the data I have in my head, give it over to them, and then we can leave. Okay? Um, are you sure that that's wise? Amelia, do you trust me? Yes, I do. Okay. Listen, I know what we're about to do. It's gonna be not only risky, but we're throwing away everything you've built on Earth. But right now, Mars isn't good. The moon base isn't good. Many of the areas where they're trying to set up colonies, they're not good either. But planets where humans don't exist, places where people don't know about, they're our best chance. There are a few I have in mind. I've looked into it, and right now, I believe that if we leave, then we can get somewhere safe. A place where we can set up shop and live together. Okay, but are you certain that this is wise? I am. Now, Deku and Amelia, they actually do somewhat go to lay back down into their beds. And Deku, he actually is somewhat concerned. The information he does have will be useful. And right now, he is thinking about it. The plan sounds fucking crazy. However, it should be useful. And we do actually have the next morning. The doctors do come to check on both of them. And whenever they do find that Deku and Amelia are both lying in bed and their restraints are, well, ripped off the table, there is the fact that they are a little confused. However, Deku, he actually is woken up, and he does talk about what happened. And the doctors, they do try to explain it to him. He had a very violent seizure, and what they did was to protect him from not only hurting himself, but from hurting others around him. And right now, they need to at least monitor his brain activity to see if he is okay. And Deku, he is going to brush us off. As we do actually have whenever he does go to start giving information to a few people. And right now the information, while it is a little bit more reliable to look at, it does narrow down the search of the scientist. Now, the scientist, they're told a few things. Number one, the black box coding or encryption, there is a baseline to it. There is an original code. And right now, Deku, he has fragments of it. Parts of it they need to look into. If they look into the baseline coding or the original code, they'll be able to unlock it. Everything else around it, it's quite simply just that. It is something that they need to not focus on. It's something to distract them. It's why the Drake's technology, it's encrypted. It's quite simply never encrypted whenever they first leave the base. The technology is encrypted over time because of assimilated technology. The more experience a Drake's craft might have, the harder the encryption. And right now, he has part of the password. And that's something that they do focus on. And right now, they are actually a bit more intrigued by this. The scientists, they get a few things ready. And we do currently have Deku. Deku, he actually does want to plan it out a bit more. And we do actually have the day Deku, he actually does go back down to the lab. While Claire is a bit more concerned about Deku, you do currently have Adam. He's staring at Deku through the glass. And he actually is concerned about what he might do. And Deku does go look over towards Adam. He does see him through the window. Him walking over it and going to look directly at Adam. Before he does go to bring his hand up and go to press a few buttons. Him entering the code the scientists use to unlock the window. As Deku, he does go to lock it back. And Adam on the other side of the room, he is confused. Him is going to shout at Deku to unlock the glass, unlock the glass. Let him know what the hell he's doing. And Deku, he does go to turn and run over. He does go to look directly at the, doors. They do slide open. Emily is going to open them up, and Amelia, she is standing there. Her asking Deku if he really does believe that this will be possible. I do. Now listen, Deku bringing his hands up to his head. Him going to pull off the helmet or the hazmat suit, telling her that this is going to be very hard. However, right now, they are ready. So, here's the plan. Deku going to look towards the aircraft, and thinking. He knows more about this thing than he does his own parents. Granted, he lost them at a young age, but still. In the real world, compared to his fake memories, he knows more about this aircraft. Deku, he does get a look directly towards the aircraft. Him running back over as he actually is tearing off his hazmat suit. Him looking upwards towards it as he's going to bring his hand upwards and start to climb upwards onto the large, machine. And we do actually have Amelia. She's going to follow suit. Deku, he is going to climb directly into the partially recovered or restored cockpit as he is going to look down towards the machine. Him bringing his hand up and slamming it onto a metallic orb. And the moment he does go to do that, you do actually have where the machine does start to somewhat power on. And Deku does at least go to have something pop up in front of him, talking about not only how the hull capacity has been breached, but how they're running on reserve power. And Deku does go to at least read a few things in a language he doesn't understand. However, he knows he can read. And Amelia does go to stare at Deku. His eyes searching the screen. Okay. Now, we do actually have back in the observation room, about a few minutes prior. Adam, whenever Deku, he was in the room, Amelia did go to walk away. Her talking about how she's going to be using the bathroom. And Adam, he was a bit concerned. Deku was looking over a ton of things. And he himself was at least staring at a ton of machinery that was inside the room. He was a bit concerned about that. Deku talked about how this thing assimilates. It uses some sort of, nanite-based technology. Something that will rip apart and disrupt the, he does have a basic understanding of it. It will rip apart metal and at least assimilate it into its own biology. It will literally break it down and turn it into something useful for it. And we do currently have inside the room, where Deku and Amelia, they're both sitting down inside the cockpit. Amelia on Deku's lap, as Deku, he is bringing his hands up. And he actually is trying to at least look over a few things. And he is going to type in a command before you actually have where the, cockpit does start to close up. It actually having a wall form around Deku on the left side before a hatch does shoot overhead and Rookie close them off. Deku going to at least bring his hands down and insert them into two long tubes before he does at least bring his hands onto what can be best described as controls. The moment he does feel a shooting pain. And Deku does feel this thing connect to his nervous system. Deku is going to scream as he does go to somewhat look around. And the machine it is to float upwards into the air. And we do currently have the scientist. They put the base on red alert. Because when they did go to unlock the glass, there was one problem. The machine was activated, and it was floating upwards into the air. The moment Adam saw that thing flying, he understood what the hell was happening. He couldn't find Amelia. And Deku, he was observing this technology a little bit too closely. Deku, he's a tricky human. And his sister, she's learned how to be deceptive from this human. He should have put two and two together. The moment his sister left the room, something was happening here. And he didn't like it. And we do currently have inside the room. The machine actually is maneuvering around. The many tendrils at least going to throw themselves around the room and assimilate technology, as they're pulling in anything metal that they can. And Deku, he actually is looking at a few things, as we do have in his point of view, or at least in his mechanical eye. Deku, he is actually able to see that there are many things happening. And right now, thanks to the machine in his body, or the enhancements, he's able to tell a few things. The hull capacity of the ship is increasing. It was originally at 20% and self-repairing, and right now, it does increase more and more. By the time it assimilates much of the technology inside the room, it is at 30%. And we do currently have where the door is going to bust open. Deku going to look towards it, as he actually is able to see that there is one of the large, suits he used to fight this thing. And Deku, he knows that there's somebody inside of it, as he does go to at least mentally command this thing to move forwards, and to fly past this person. Now, Deku does tell Amelia to hang on, and Amelia, she actually somewhat grab onto a few things, as you'd actually wish she actually is going to press a button and accidentally fire a laser. This laser going to shoot out of one of the tendrils and directly cut into part of the base, it slashing upwards and around as the bases have it compromised. And Deku is going to stare at that, him telling Amelia to not touch any of the controls. And Amelia, she actually somewhat recoil backwards into Deku. Deku actually being socked in the nose, as he is going to somewhat throw his head backwards, directly in the command chair. Something going to actually bring himself down onto his head, as Deku does feel something connect around his neck. And Deku, he actually does go to somewhat look around. As the moment he does feel like he has better control over this device. And he actually does somewhat maneuver the machine. The machine was floating like a floating octopus in water. Its tendrils just freely, moving around. And the moment he did connect fully to the machine, you do actually have where it did go to fly directly past the robot and into the corridor. The large thing actually hitting into the robot as it go flying to the right. And we do currently have Deku and Amelia. Deku is trying to maneuver this thing in a certain way. Right now this thing, it's in self-repair mode. And Deku, he needs to get it past a certain level. If he can get to that place where they do have at least a, mining operation here on Pluto, they can repair this thing with the machinery there. And then they can fly off and leave. It's easy. This is their way out. And we do currently have inside the base. Red alert has been deemed. And right now, everybody, they are confused. Amelia, she's surprised at Deku's actions. Yes, Deku was under the threat of execution, but literally stealing an alien spaceship and running off the princess? That takes some balls to do. And right now she is concerned, because Adam, he's losing his fucking mind. and he's trying to lock down the entire base. Now, we do currently have Deku and Amelia. Whenever Deku does get to an elevator shaft, he actually is going to pull apart the doors. Him flying upwards, as we do have whenever he does go to directly fly upwards into the shaft and through the top of it. This being where they do blast on the top, and Deku is going to look around their surroundings. Okay. Barren land, barren land. Okay, shit. Maybe they should have taken some of the ships that were down there. But that also would be a problem. Let's see. He's still having trouble controlling this thing. Right now it feels off, but he can manage it. It isn't too different from those suits. Maybe it has some of the interface inside of it. That might be what's allowing him to actually control it better. Okay. The mining operation. Fuck. Deku going to pick a direction. He picks a direction and starts flying that way. Him surprised at the speed of this thing. They loop around the planet at least 2 or 3 times before they find it. And when they do, Deku immediately goes to crash into a large machine. Him crashing into it, and directly going to suction around it and wrap around it. As the moment he does, you do actually have where it does talk about how the assimilation is beginning. And Deku actually start to watch as the machine does get crushed down into raw metal. Before not only have raw components got assimilated, you do actually have the robot repairing itself, or the machine. Now, Deku he does that for much of the stuff around this area. And the moment he is done, you do actually have where he does go to fly out into space. Okay, that got them pretty good. Right now, they're at 70% and increasing. Hull integrity is good. Oxygen levels are fine. This thing's calibrated to their atmospheric conditions. And right now, there's a weird smell here, but he's assuming that that's from, the other alien. There's, an iron-like smell here. Okay. Now, they actually are flying out into space. And Amelia, she's asking Deku if he's okay. Yeah, I'm fine. It's just, I need to focus on this. Are you sure? Yeah. Why? Oh, which one of these are the communicator? What do you mean? Which one allows us to send a message? I want to let them know what we're doing. If it seems like we're just running off together, people might make assumptions. They might think that you kidnapped me. Shit. Okay, that's bad. Yes, I'm bringing that up right now because if humans, they're seen as different because of our actions, it could be bad. But if it's also seen like I influenced you, then that could also be bad. So, which one of these allows us to record? Now, Deku he has with both of his arms inside the console, just going to pushes arms forwards, turning them 90 degrees, as he actually has to pull his hands backwards out of the consoles. The thing on autopilot, as they're currently flying out of the solar system. And Deku he is thinking, okay, let's see. On the right, you have the weapon system. So, this one right here, Deku pressing down a button. As you actually have where the comms do open up and pop up on screen. Okay, here. Amelia, bring your hand over Deku's, and holding down the button, asking if there's something just supposed to record and send a message. Yeah. If I'm right, that's how this machine does work. Are you certain? Yeah, I am. Okay, where do we begin this? I mean, I don't exactly know. This was a crazy plan. Don't you agree, though? I mean, yeah, it was a crazy plan. So, do you want to start or should I? I believe that we should, well, plan this out a bit more. And maybe, then communicate it back to Earth. Earth? Yes. Or Mars? Whichever planetary body is closer. I'd say Pluto, but my brother would more than likely ignore the message. Okay. Now, Deku and Amelia do plan this out, and we do currently have Earth about a few, or let's just say, several hours later, where a news broadcaster is talking, and they actually have breaking reports. This just in. Currently on a secret facility somewhere out in space, I have not been given the location, there have been at least a few things happening. Now, I don't exactly want to, well, surprise anybody, but as it has been known recently thanks to the actions of Izuku Midoriya, the ambassador to the Etzos, the man who led an operation against, well, the machine, or the octopus aliens as everyone knows them as, and, well, who has been in the news recently because of his, well, supposed relationship to Amelia, the queen of the Etzos. He has been heard in a message recently. And right now, we do actually also at least have Amelia, the princess of the Etzos, who is also heard on the very same message. Right now, we'll give a playback to it, and all of you can hear and at least deduce for themselves what has happened. Now, beginning the playback in 3, 2, okay, I believe this is recording now. Yes, it does appear so. Okay, my name is Izuku Midoriya, and while our actions are questionable, many people might see this as strange or odd. Yes, our relationship is somewhat looked as bad upon my own people. My brother in particular, Adam, who has recently taken the crown, he does not like that me and Izuku are together. Yes, the reports that many people have heard about have been speculated on. Our relationship is just that. It started long before the Etzos came to Earth, and many people who speculate that this is purely political, they are wrong. Yes, now allow me to at least give some backstory. Because of the recent threat on my life, and the recent possession of my body by a Troikwa, that would be the alien, or at least one of the alien species that do threaten the Etzos, and currently our own planet. I do have a few comments on that. I was possessed by a Troikwa at least 2 months ago, and right now, I have memories implanted in my head, things I've seen. I've seen what this race of aliens can do. They are a massive threat to our people. Not only have humans been seen as a target, but so have the Etzos. Right now, we're piloting a Dratex, well, military aircraft. And we're leaving. Yes, we're leaving the system. Many people, they may seem strange or freaked out by this. We're broadcasting from a military aircraft of an alien ship. Not only do, well, are things complicated, but we believe that the best thing to do right now is to run. We believe that if we were to try and hide, we would be found here. So, we are going farther past the observable area of this solar system. Do not try to find us. And do not try to look for us. Adam, listen to me. I understand that you are concerned for Amelia, your sister. I understand that you are concerned about her. You are worried about her and me together. I will take good care of her. I'll look after her. And I will look after him. Because we are, as the humans would say, eloping. And we are leaving. This is Amelia Midoriya. And this is Izuku Midoriya. Signing off. They'd both say in unison. And the broadcast would currently end. As the reporter he'd go to talk about how this is an unforeseen circumstance. Not only has the first human and Etzo relationship been observed and verified, but it does seem like the princess, or the Etzo princess, she is running off with a human. And this actually is very surprising. Because not only has the information surfaced that Izuku Midoriya was possessed, but it also would explain the attack behind the mansion, and presumably the death of the Etso former King Arthur. Now, we do actually have Adam, who he actually is somewhat pissed off and annoyed. That broadcast was heard all around Earth. Every single Etso. They just heard that. And right now, he is the only remaining child that is of their family to take on the throne. His mother, she has her own concerns. She's trying to advise him. And right now, Adam, he may or may not be going off the deep end. He's been trained all his life to take the crown. And for the day his father may die and he may take this position. However, there are a few things wrong. Adam, he's letting the power get to his head, and he's quickly starting to lose ground on what he can and can't do. He thought the crown meant authority, and authority was absolute. However, his authority has been questioned on multiple occasions. And right now, he's learning that power, it may not be as strong as he thought. If he was king, he should be invincible. However, he's learned he isn't. And right now, that is a threat to not only him, but his own power. Now, with that being said, I do hope you guys enjoyed, and have an amazing day. I'll catch you guys in the next part.